Hi out there in the YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we're going to be discussing the four main life paths that are in Hinduism. And I personally love Hinduism. Of all of the world religions, it's my favorite. I wouldn't consider myself branded Hindu though, but I guess it is my most favorite, so if you want to call me a Hindu or think of me in that regard, that's completely fine by me. I don't really know what your cultural biases on what Hindus are like, but from the ancient study of Hinduism, and in the texts of the Vedas, they talk about the four life paths, and this links to astrology very, very importantly. And I wanted to show you on my phone that there's an app that you should really get. So I'll just show you. I have it like this. It's the one in the corner here. See what it looks like? It says Nakshatra. I have a picture actually that I prepared. That's what the icon will look like. And yes, this is a very good app. As my point. It has all of the 27 nakshatras on it, with a brief summary of each one, and it'll look kind of like that. It'll look kind of like that. It's hard because the camera's got like this manual zoom thing, which I thought I'd try out for this video, and it's like zooming in everywhere. So yes, I showed you what the app looks like. And so it has like Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrigashira, Ardra, Pramavasu, Pushya, Aslesha. It's got all of them, and up to 27. So what I want to get to with the life paths is that there's four. Okay, so there's Kama, and to remember Kama, I'm going to describe each more in detail, but just I want to go through what the four are quickly. Kama. Think of like caramel, okay? Or Kama, which Kama is, because that's the life path, is actually one of the Hindu gods for sex and sexuality. And it's in no way considered a bad thing or dishonorable. It's a life path, and it's kind of like people's built-in nature. And they do have a progressive state, meaning that the first one is the least, like they're all noble paths, but the first one is the least noble, and then they build up as we go. And Kama, you can also think of the Kama Sutra, actually gets its name from the god Kama, which is the god of love and sex, which is life path 1. Or you can think of caramel. Like, that's how I kind of remember it. Is Kama, caramel, I don't know. They don't even really sound that much alike, but I think of like caramel melting in your mouth, and it's like, oh, like tasty sugar, like of the senses. So that's life path 1. And so there's Kama, Artha, and Artha I always think of like it's like King Arthur, okay? So it's about prosperity and wealth, and kind of like materiality a little bit, like wanting to get far in this life. And it's not considered a bad thing. Like if someone is a king or has built in their chart to have more of a materialist streak, it's not considered a bad thing to seek out wealth or fame or nobility in this lifetime, because that's bringing their image closer to what makes them happy. And we need to fulfill what makes us happy in this lifetime in order to achieve the final life path, which we're getting to. So there's Kama, Artha, Darksha. There's Kama, Artha, Darksha. Darksha. Now, Darksha is basically duty, okay? Or service to others. And it is through accomplishing our service to others that they achieve happiness and ultimately liberation. Now, having the sign of servitude would mean like helping in other people's accomplishments, things that they need to have accomplished in this life. they can help with those kind of things. And then that leads to the service of family as well, like, or spouse, or just service, duty, like accomplishing your karmic goals through duty. And then the final of the 4 life paths is moksha. Okay, so it goes kama, artha, darsha, moksha. And moksha is liberation of the spirit. It is the most spiritual of all the signs. I have it in one of my 3. I usually, when I'm looking at a chart, I would look at the ascendant, the sun, and the moon, and put the most heavy weight on the moon as for their mind. So that's kind of more how they think. But then there is your ascendant, which is more of your body or your physicality. And so this would be more how you actually come off as a person. How that energy of your mind gets focused through your ascendant. And then your sun is like your ego, or yourself. It's kind of like your mind, and it really does link to kind of how your mind thinks. That's why you usually have to take the sun and the moon into consideration for a person, because they combine. But the sun would be more of a representation of external. So like when you first meet this person, the initial energy that they give off, but not necessarily the true energy or the deepest energy, which would be represented by their mind. So there are those 4 life paths, kama, artha, darsha, moksha, and I thought I would share that with you, because a lot of people often ask or question like what it is in this life they're to be doing. And another cool thing about this app, it also shows, and you can research these things through books or other sources, but this is a free app. It's just called Nakshatra, and I already showed you a picture of what it looks like. That's what the icon will look like. The little icon. And it's got all of them, and it even shows the caste system. And the caste system, they have like a farmer, and if you have that in your chart, is your sun or your moon or your ascendant, or like especially in your moon, but it would make you love nature and gardening and tilling the earth. And then they have a butcher caste, which like things of butcher nature would be obviously a little more gory or gruesome, so they might want to be a butcher. A lot of these things really can help, and if you use them in combination with even the Western system of like knowing that they're a Virgo, so they might be really into health and diet, but then depending on their life path, practical on Artha, which is the materialistic, or money, then they could sell herbs or dieting supplements or something that could help to make a business, so you can combine multiple elements when doing interpretations, to give a feel of how the individual is. And so yeah, I'll just pick one at random. I'll do well, not at random. I'll do my Parmavasu, which is my moon, and so it gives you the star, the zodiac, the ruling planet, the meaning, the symbol, the deity, the guana, the gaana, the goal, which is like the life path, which I was just talking about. And it says Artha. I don't know if I will be able to. Artha is practical, and yeah, it says that has pleasant voice, kind heart, eats little, appreciates other people's qualities. So, and then it goes through a lot more, but it's really, really a good app, and I wanted to go through those life paths, because I also study the Kabbalah tree of life, which isn't really Hinduism, but I do like to incorporate all kind of religious, philosophical thoughts, because they all are just helping understand consciousness. There are different ways of doing that, different systems. And yeah, in the Kabbalah tree of life, like you have like the white pillar and the black pillar and the gray pillar in the middle. and then they're all interconnected with all of the Sephiroths. And you can take either way, either side, like light, dark, or gray. All ways lead to the top, which is like heaven or moksha, which through infinite reincarnation cycles in either system, it teaches that we will eventually have like spiritual liberation, which is why moksha was considered the most noble of the 4 life paths. But all of them are considered good, meaning a lot of things like even being gay or sex isn't considered a sin, like how it is in Western Christian mental mind, the way that they think about it in their mind. In Hinduism, sex is sacred and a part of nature. It's not the highest goal in this life, but it is no way seen as a bad thing. So, yeah, I thought I would make this video. Please like it and share it if it's one of your first videos, or if you enjoyed the material. And I will see you in future videos. Bye for now. Okay, hi. So I just also wanted to add in here. Yeah, so I just want to add in here at the end that I mainly use the 12 zodiac, like it's the one that I was grown up on. It was my bread and butter, so to speak. So I'm more familiar with the understanding of the 12 zodiac. However, I like to think of it as if you have centimeters or inches. Like we got like 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter. Can be Aries, Taurus, Gemini. But now if you're like 2.5, then like what are you? Like if you're a cusp sign, or if you fall on a place that normally in Western astrology, what if you're a cusp, like you're right between 2? Well, in most instances, when you zoom in, it will actually help define a cusp a little more precisely. There is 3 instances that this doesn't apply. If you look up the Nakshatra wheel, there's 3 places. Between fire and water are the 3 places where the rift between the 2 signs, there's no bridge. They're too conflicting. There's no melding of those 2 signs, or like, hard for me to explain. No like bell curve, no like blending of the spectrum. That's like, yeah. Oh, and another little astrological tidbit is that if you fall on one of these rifts or cusp between fire and water signs, any of those places, if it's between water and fire, it has a very heavy karmic dew. I know, scary, right? But that basically, yeah, it means things can be a little tougher in your life. So, and that would also depend on what planet, what sign, what house, and what aspects that planet in that position is making. So I can't just say right off the top of my head how that would influence you. Just those are 3 spots to be really wary of, is between the fire and water. Because even in the 27 divisionary zodiacal system with the 27 nakshatras, there's 3 places which align with the cusps of the 12 zodiac, and that would be between fire and water. Because in all of the other places you can zoom in and there is a nakshatra that acts like a bridge between those 2 signs that has qualities kind of like both signs, and it gives a little bit more detailed depth and analysis on what that character would be like. But not between those fire and water. So I thought I'd add that in, and that also I use tropical, and I translate the chart when I'm zooming in. So I don't use the sidereal system, I use the tropical, and if I'm converting from a tropical chart, an astrological birth chart, a natal chart, then I will use the translation of that into nakshatra if I want more detail. I don't switch to the sidereal system, I overlay them. because Aries always starts in spring. It is the 1st. And then if we're going to provide more detail in the Nakshatra, I like to overlay those properly. Yeah, I've always found tropical to be the most descriptive for describing characters. Sidereal can be used to define larger ages or periods of time. But if you're going to be talking about an individual's birth, then you should be talking about the sine wave, which is created through the sun's movement of the seasons. So I just thought I'd add that in there. So like this and woot, I hope you enjoyed my astrological video, and we'll see you in future ones. Leave me some comments and let me know what you think of this, and more, give me some feedback and I'll do more videos for you. Bye.